Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. This is Matt Orozco here from Macabre Daily, and I am excited today because I'm joined by Jeremy Rudd, who is the creative mastermind behind Diced Reloaded, which is going to be hitting theaters on August 8th and VOD on August 12th from Dread. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me in Macabre Daily today.
Of course, happy to be here.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations on the film. It is so much fun. I think I told Eden and Jason when I spoke to them before, it's kind of like Halloween meets Terrifier, the best of each. And I think a lot of folks are really going to enjoy it. And I'm curious to know how the journey from a short film that you put up turned into a feature-length film with Dread.
Yeah, I mean, so I one day during the pandemic, I was like, let me just. I had a lot of time. I was like, I want to take a shot at writing. So I wrote the script, and then it was just sitting there for a couple of weeks. I was like, okay, I gotta do something with this. So reached out to some local film crew in Seattle. We got the thing shot, filmed it, and then put it out there. I did all the editing, color grade, everything my own self. And then my brother and I, we were just kind of thinking of creative ways to market it. So we were just marketing the heck out of that thing, like all on social media, different Facebook forums and everything. And then long story short, I think it got the attention of Epic and Dread Central. So they wanted to kind of remix and remaster and then kind of add on additional scenes, which they did a really good job at. I feel like I like the finished product, and then we're gonna put that out there, and then very excited to showcase that to the world.
Yeah, I mean it's an impressive feat to be honestly. It looks so good, and I was telling Jason this that the practical effects, the emphasis on practical too,
Hmm.
is such an important part of making what I think is an effective slasher these days because it's so easy for us to tune out like the gore when it looks too fake. But
Yeah.
that practical effects really give us that tactile. My favorite gag involves a candy bucket and a middle finger, so that's all I'm going to say as far as spoiling it goes. But as you, how do you go about approaching adding scenes here? Because it's such a unique situation where you're being asked to kind of take something that was really designed for a specific medium and format and then kind of expand upon it without, interrupting the integrity of the original vision.
I mean, a lot of it is, you have the script, and then you try to execute on it, and then some of it doesn't go according to plan, and then a lot of it does, and then a lot of it's kind of improvising and figuring out on set. Because Jason, who plays our villain Benny, he has his own special effects team, so he knows a lot about that. And then we were on set. We were like, hey, what if we do this? Like ways to make it bigger and better and improve upon it. So it was definitely a pleasure having him on set and playing our villain. So it definitely helped out with that. So, but ultimately we were like kind of figuring things out on set last minute, and then it just worked out to be better, much better and bigger than what we imagined it to be, what I wrote it to be. So.
That's so cool. I mean, like, I think that's there's the office this maybe assumption people have about filmmaking that it's all planned out to a T, and there's certainly an element of planning that goes into it, but it's also
Yeah.
very much based off of the what happens to you in the moment and being able to improvise based off of if you run into a snag or maybe you get up with a new idea that's going to help elevate the film in some way. So it's so good to hear that level of agility that you all have working together. Um, and
Hmm.
when when you think about your journey to horror and genre, what is it that's drawn you over the years to, not just the genre itself, but also leading up to eventually wanting to write this film? You mentioned the pandemic was a big kind of had a lot of time, had a lot of things to do, but um, did it make sense to say that you were a horror fan long before the pandemic?
Yeah, I was a horror fan long before the pandemic, but also I just really like how horror films make you feel. Like it's the only one that kind of gets you glued to the TV, like you're trying to really paying attention to what's going on, and like you actually feel like some film, if it's done right, you feel like you're really involved into it. So I just wanted to definitely, kind of work out, doing a horror film.
Yeah, I mean and they are so much fun too. I think especially slashers.
Hmm.
I was talking to someone yesterday, where we were basically saying that so many people's gateway into horror is the slasher film.
Hmm.
And so I feel like it's because there's just so much fun. You don't have to pay too much attention to them, but they have some depth. We Benny is a sympathetic character to some extent, and that's a challenging emotion for people who are watching someone just massacre people left, right, and center. Now, as far as challenges, you mentioned that there are some things that, as every production is going to have some issues. What are some things that you occurred in kind of adding these additional scenes, and how did you overcome some of the biggest, most pressing challenges you faced?
Challenges were probably time constraints on certain kill scenes because we really just wanted to execute those and make sure they look, as real as possible. And then obviously with the budget we had, we couldn't just have people stay there for hours and hours and hours. So we had to execute as well as we could in a short amount of time. So the challenges were definitely, I would say more the kill scenes or some of the more the action scenes, the chase scenes where it took a little more, like really locking in and kind of figuring out the best way to, make this look as real as possible. So I would say that's the biggest challenges, but ultimately we were able to kind of overcome those and, get out of the product and in the fashion we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the kills look great, and I think it's been so impressive, for you all as a team collectively to, knowing that you're working under budget constraints, that things do look so good. And I think again, that's what brings a lot of fans to the films. It's like, hey, do the effects work? Do they entertaining? And I think people be
Hmm.
really, even just the beginning 5 minutes of this movie. I told Jason Eden, I'm like, I'm never going to look at a crayon the same way ever again. But when you think about the future, would you like to continue making horror films? And if so, do you want to stay in the slasher genre, or do you have any kind of desires to branch out?
Yeah, definitely staying within the horror genre slasher. I definitely want to make a part two of this movie. I feel like the Scarecrow is definitely underutilized in the horror field. And we have a really good character here in a final girl in the film that I definitely want to kind of expand upon. Especially just trying to figure out, how we can make, this horror slasher film different and unique than other ones. Um, so we're definitely going to be dialing that down a lot more in part two for sure.
Yeah, when you leave it on such a great way where it kind of, it could exist on its own, but I think there is more story to tell there. And I
Yeah.
think, I think a lot of folks will want to see more of this because, again, it is such a tight, efficient slasher. You're in and out in 80 minutes. You get everything you need in that time. You have characters you remember, you have kills that you're going to be, kind of rooting for, even though it's maybe not the
Mhm.
right thing to do to root against someone dying, but that's what we came to see. It's what the cost of admission brings.
Yep.
Um, and then my last question for you, I know, Jeremy, is just, if you were asked to program a double feature with Dice Reloaded, what do you think would make a good companion with this film to be a lot of fun?
What do you mean as far as a companion?
Like if you're asked, like, hey, we're doing a double feature tonight, some theaters offering you the chance to put a film, they're playing Dice Reloaded, and they want to ask you, what's another film you want us to play with this?
Oh,
What film
another
would you
film
pick?
with it? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a great question. Let's see. Probably one of the newer slashers. You got Hard Eyes, you got uh what is the other one? You got Terrifier,
Clown in the Cornfield this year.
Clown in the Cornfield. So any of the newer guys, I think that would be good to see kind of head to head against, the newer villains. So you can see which one is like, which one you like better or, which one you kind of gravitate towards more or, that type of thing. So I think that'd be
I
cool to
kind of
see.
I like that idea, the idea of kind of a showcase in the modern slasher kind of
Hmm.
arena to some extent with you have Benny, you got Art, you've got Friendo, you got
Yep.
Hard Eyes. So I think you're onto something there. Maybe there's kind of a good opportunity to put together a little programming that's just modern slasher so we can see what the future of the genre is going to look like. And Jeremy, I gotta say the future's bright. I mean, I was so had such a good time watching your film. I hope others will do the
Thank you.
same. And as a reminder, everyone go to see this in the theater. Movies are more fun with people around, so you can all ooh and ah and hide your
Yep.
eyes accordingly. That'll be on August 8th. And then if you can't make it in the theater, you can always watch it on VOD on August 12th. But please get to the theater, get this film some support so that we can get a part two. And Jeremy, whatever you're putting out next, consider us a fan.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate the
It's,
support.
it's a pleasure. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. This is Matt Orozco here from Macabre Daily, and I am diced up with joy today to be joined by two of the actors and stars of the upcoming film Diced Reloaded, which is going to be hitting theaters on August 8th, VOD on August 12th, from Dread. I'm here with Eden Campbell, who plays Cassandra, and Jason Brooks, who has a dual role as both Benny and, if I remember correctly, the visual effects as well. Is that true, Jason?
Yeah, the practical effects on that one.
Excellent. So thank you both for spending some time with me today.
Oh,
Of
thanks for
course.
having us.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
It's a pleasure. And as I was telling you both before we started recording, I had a bloody good time with this thing. So congratulations on what I'm sure is going to be a really fun favorite for a lot of folks going into the Halloween season. But this is not your first time playing these characters, right? You were all appeared in a short previous to this. So I'm wondering, how did you approach your characters this time around when you were asked to reprise them for Reloaded? And let's start with you, Eden.
Yeah, so Dice Reloaded just builds on the 2023 story Diced. So it's an expanded version. So I didn't actually have any additional scenes for the new one, but Jason can talk to his because he flew down to film some more scenes.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we flew down and got this new script edition, which was great. That kind of gave a little bit more backstory and visual storytelling to Benny's journey, and um, and added some more fun kills and fun elements, and kind of wrapped it up on the end as well to kind of bookend the movie and give us another about 30 minutes.
Did Jason freeze on your guys' end?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, let's give
okay.
him a second.
Am I not here?
Oh,
You're
you're back
back.
now. You
We
Oh,
froze
lost
about
you
30 seconds ago, Jason. If
oh,
you
I
want,
did.
yeah, if
Oh
you want to just go
no.
back.
Yeah, sorry. It worked the whole time for me. Okay.
No
So
worries.
did you hear any of what I said?
Yeah, so basically you went back and you had to go and film some additional scenes to help bookend the film, and that's where I think we lost you.
Okay, yeah, we went and filmed about 30 additional minutes of Benny's backstory, doing some visual storytelling about some of the elements we talked about throughout the film to kind of show what happened and add some additional kills, which were a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely gives off a very Halloween meets Terrifier vibe that I think a lot of people are really going to get excited about. And Eden, you channeled something pretty fierce for the finale of this film. I don't want to go into spoilers, but goodness me, you really channeled some rage there. And I'm wondering, how do you get into that headspace to prepare for such an intense finale?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, it's a lot of screaming. So you kind of have to allow yourself some time, either the day before or that morning, to just stop using your voice. And then to build that rage and that emotion, I found it helpful to um, start building my own world about an hour before each scene. And that just involves a little less talking to other people because I don't want to be a pain to work with because I'm entering a dark place in my mind
Right.
before those scenes.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to you because it's you can feel the rage kind of off the screen. And I think that's a testament to how well you perform. So, just again, a great performance there.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the practical effects scenes are really outstanding. You both really get into the thick of it with the gore, and I'm curious to hear from you both what scenes were maybe the most fun to film. I think you might have a different answers, right? Because Jason, you had to go back and do some additional scenes, whereas Eden were using the previous ones. So what are some of the scenes that you're like, wow, I had a real good time with that one?
Yeah, Jason, I'm curious, what was your favorite kill?
I would have to say it was well, as far as the scene, I don't know if it was a kill, but our fight scene at the end was a lot of fun for me. Um, and not giving any spoilers away, but we had a bloody good time, and just that whole sequence in that area that we had to fight was just a lot of fun.
I agree. That was obviously my only, well, to start off with, that was my first time doing stunt work. And I rolled onto set. This is the last 2 days of filming. Never done stunt work before, just knowing that we're gonna have a lot of blood. And I was terrified because I was like, is it gonna hurt? Am I gonna be exhausted? And it was my favorite part of filming the movie. It's really fun. Jason does choreography, sorry, not choreography, but stunt work all the time, and it's like a dance. It is
Yeah.
choreography, and nothing hurts at all. It's exhilarating, actually. So that was my
Well,
favorite.
so maybe it sounds like we might get more stunt work from you in the future, Eden, a chance to flex the physicality a bit. Because it's, I have a good sense that maybe we'll see more of Benny, but who knows? And Jason, you really bring some just extreme menace to Benny. But there's also a playfulness, almost a sympathetic part to him as well. I mean, obviously we don't sympathize with murderous killers, but you play that very well, especially at the start of the film. And I'm curious to know what inspirations you drew from to kind of formulate your characterization of Benny.
Yeah, thank you. It started with talking to the director, Jeremy Rudd, who wanted to have Benny kind of act as though he was like a 5 or 8 year old child, where he doesn't know better. He's never kind of gone beyond that mindset. And so I kind of went into Benny with kind of a curiosity and a sadness of I don't know why this is happening to me, or like a bug killing little boy who, he's curious and he doesn't know
Right.
right from wrong. And he's like putting the magnifying glass with the sun on the bugs, killing them, and just out of curiosity. And so that's the way I kind of approached him. And when he gets reactions out of the killing, he gets excited. And if anything happens, like, you know, to him, it's like getting bit by a snake. You're fun playing with the snake until you get bit. Then it's like, ow, you're surprised. And then, you want to lash back. So that is kind of a nutshell of how I wanted to go about the Benny character.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot within your eyes, even, I think, that really do a good job of kind of putting forward like an almost a dark innocence. And so I think that there's so much that, again, kudos to you both on like kind of bringing your characters to true life on the screen. Because I think in slashers, the most important thing is that we feel for these characters, particularly folks like Cassandra, right, who are the target of the ire of someone like a Benny. And when you think about the potential, obviously we don't know what the future will bring, but if there were to be a sequel to Diced Reloaded, how would you like to see your character show up in a second film? Or in this case, maybe it's officially second full-length feature, but maybe a third kind of unofficial.
Yeah, I think that Cassandra was strong from the beginning, but she really found her strength, and along the way, she experienced a lot of tragedy. So the rage that you see at the end of the film from her, I would love to see explored um, in another movie, if possible. Yeah. What about you, Jason?
I think there's a couple things. I'd love to see more of Benny's backstory and what led there. There's some great ideas floating around about how Benny became Benny, and that sort of thing, and what makes him tick, what made these relationships happen. So I think exploring some of that would be fun for me. And and then just having Benny kind of more spiral out of control.
Well, I gotta say, I will never look at crayons the same way again. I was so blown away by the intro of this movie. I was like, wow, you all are really coming out swinging, and I'm here for every second of it. So, I think my last question for you both, it can be sometimes a difficult one, so I apologize in advance. But if you were asked to program a double feature and Dice Reloaded was one of the films, what do you think would make a good kind of companion film to show with it?
Oh,
I know, I'm sorry.
that is a tough one.
There are
Um,
no wrong answers if it makes you both feel any better.
yeah, I don't know. I heard the Terrifier Halloween combo sounds, that was a pretty good description. So I think maybe having one or both of those before um is the right vibe.
What about you, Eden?
Yeah, for a double feature, do you mean adding an existing movie to go along with Dice Reloaded?
Yeah, so like we're gonna go see, theaters doing two movies. Dice Reloaded's one of them. What's the other one you think would be a lot of fun to watch with it?
It would just have to be my favorite horror movie, which is Scream. You got,
Oh, great
classic
choice.
80s slasher and then 80s slasher revived 2025. Yeah.
You know what? I'm here for that pairing, especially because they are so similar but different in the way in which they display violence. Obviously, Dice Reloaded is a little bit more visceral and in your face than maybe Scream is, but at the same time, they're all drawing from the same inspiration. So that's a double feature I'd absolutely go see. And Jason, I'll give you the triple feature there with both of those, so we can get that three together. But I just want to say thank you to you both for taking some time to speak with me today about the film, and to remind everybody that's watching this or listening to this, however you're getting this, that you can go check out Dice Reloaded in theaters, which you should do. Like, this is such a fun movie to see with people because the kills are fun, the emotion is high. But if you can't get to the theater, you can catch it on video on demand on August 12th. And Eden and Jason, I wish you both this not just success with this film, but continuing films you're going to do. And I hope this isn't the last we see of Cassandra or Benny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Uh,
Matt.